We'll have a look at the schedule of this weekend. A few goals, a low average. We started on Friday with Lanús beating Platense, Vélez defeating Arsenal and Atlético, Tucumán beating Unión all by 1 goal. Yesterday, Barracas shocked the leaders, Ríver Plέit 2-1 in Buenos Aires. Then San Lorenzo beats Rosario Central 1-0. A 1-1 draw between Estudiantes and Central Córdoba, and between Talleres and Godoy Cruz. Ríver Plέit smiles because of that. Independiente is leading 1-0 against Huracán. We are going on with Colón Racing, followed by Instituto Belgrano, the Córdoba Derby. Then Banfield Argentinos Juniors, Defensa y Justicia Tigre, and Boca against Sarmiento. We close the round tomorrow with Newell's Gimnasia. The standings have Ríver Plέit leading on 50 points, 9 points clear from Talleres, who wasted the chance of catching up to 7 points. San Lorenzo remains on 41, Lanús on 40, then Estudiantes, Rosario Central, Belgrano, Defensa y Justicia, Godoy Cruz, Argentinos Juniors, Newell's, Platense, Sarmiento, Boca. Racing arrives on 27 points in 15th, as we said, and Colón is on 20th on 24 points. Barracas Central, Central Córdoba, Gimnasia and Tigre between them. And then behind we have Independiente, Atlético Tucumán, Unión, Instituto, Vélez, Huracán, Banfield and Arsenal. It's a cloudy afternoon in Santa Fe, as we said. Colón and Racing will be on the field shortly. I am Francisco Aure, and it's a pleasure to be alongside Carter Augustine for the game commentary as the fans keep on entering the stadium. Carter, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Francisco. Pleasure, likewise, to be here with you. It's the Salaleto faithful get the drums and horns going before the match. Gago comes out onto the pitch. His Racing Club coming off a first place finish in their Libertadores group in midweek. Both teams coming in with decent unbeaten streaks. Colón unbeaten in 5, Racing in 4 in all competitions. And they make their way out onto the pitch now. Estadio Brigadier Stanislao Lopez. Meeting between the managers Nestor Gorosito and Fernando Gago. And should be a fascinating encounter here on match day 22 between the Sabalero and La Academia. Colón have proved so difficult to beat. Just 5 losses on the year. After Nestor Gorosito has taken over, they have really been tough to break down. But another draw last time out, Francisco, for Colón. A decent draw away to Rosario Central, but in that unbeaten run of 5 games for the home side coming into tonight, 4 draws. They have 12 draws on the season, and still trying to figure out how to turn all 3 points from a level position. That will be the goal here today as they play host to La Academia, coming in off a high, finishing top of their group in Libertadores.
And today for Racing, it's game 1 AR, game 1 after Rojas. Matias Rojas has left the club. He had his farewell in the Conmebol Libertadores against Ñublense from Chile in the week. Rojas is no longer part of Racing, and it's a very sensible loss for the team. Therefore, it's a new period in which, among the experienced Gabriel Auche, Jonathan Gomez, that man on screen, they will have to take over the responsibility of a controversial player who at the same time was almost a player with no replacement in the team, lacking goal scoring in the last rounds. Racing, as we said, is really struggling in the season, far away from the very solid team they were in 2022.
Try and regain a bit of footing here on the road tonight, this afternoon I should say. And indeed, Rojas departs as their leading goal scorer this year in both the League and Libertadores. Big shoes to fill. And the big call here made by Fernando Gago for, as you called it, Francisco, match 1 AR. It's Nicolas Oroz who comes into the starting lineup for the visitors.
Yeah, Oroz, and also a really difficult system in defense with Tomás Avilés, a player that has been surfing around between the center half and the center back position, now as a right back. A completely unfamiliar position for him, but still a different test for him. Facundo Garcés, the 24-year-old, is Colón's captain. Facundo Techo, the referee, makes the coin toss. Arias has chosen the kickoff. Mr. Gorosito trying a 5-3-2 system, or 5-2-3 depending on the way you look at it. A double 9 system with Ramon Avila and Jorge Benitez. Behind them, Facundo Farias, who finally came back to the top flight after his long absence.
He'll look to feed that man, Conejo Benitez, and Ramon Avila ahead of him. Facundo Farias making his second consecutive start. As Francisco mentioned, a long layoff with a knee injury, and there is the jewel for Colón. Got an assist on the road at Rosario Central last weekend. Regaining his fitness and form. And when he is on form, he is one of the players to watch in the LPF. Where we go in Santa Fe, Colón playing host to Racing. Here on match day 22, the Liga Profesional de Fútbol rolls on in Argentina. The home side in their familiar red and black, going right to left to start the match. The visitors from Avellaneda in the light blue, coming into the match with momentum on the continent as they finish top of their Libertadores group during the week, finishing top over the defending champions Flamengo of Brazil, but currently sitting 15th here in league play, hoping to regain their footing. Colón have become very difficult to break down, but looking to turn their glut of draws into a win. Alongside Francisco Aure, I'm Carter Augustine. Pleasure, my friend, to be alongside you here for the Sabalero and La Academia.
We'll see what this game brings to us, as both teams need to go for the 3 points.
And here come the visitors into the attack. There are 4 players awaiting the service. Looping cross. It's brought down well on the first time of asking. Nardoni charging forward. Rafael Delgado goes down inside his own area.
Nardoni, after being raised and having set himself as a football player in Union, he's needless to say that he's playing a very special game in the enemy territory. Football player in Union, he's needless.
The arch rivals of Colón last year, and his boyhood club Union made 34 appearances across the Copa de la Liga and league campaign.
Certainly he couldn't find his
I think
best
you're right,
level
Francisco.
anyway.
He looked well up for it early on here, and he helps to win the corner. And on the near post, flicked on and smashed just wide. What a chance. And it was the former Cologne man, Gonzalo Piovi, who nearly fired Racing in front.
Yeah, very nice move. And a good chance here by Piovi. Good shots. But anyway, a chance you can't miss.
That's a huge chance for Racing as it popped to Piovi. Hints of a handball were waved off by the referee. Here come Cologne with a flowing move. Benitez wanted it in behind. Never arrived. Home side coming into this one 5 unbeaten in the league. 4 of those were draws. They did win their last home match a couple of weeks ago, 1-0 over Estudiantes. Last time out, a 1-1 draw away at Rosario Central, and they were very nearly the first team to beat the Canasha at the Gigante since last August. They took the lead in the second half and only gave up a controversial penalty for the equalizer. Decent performance on the road last time out for Nestor Gorosito's men. Three changes in total to the 11. More on that in a second. Racing have pressed well, and they win it high up the pitch. Squared in towards Auche, a swing and a miss. Out to Moreno, his shot blocked. Another good chance carved out by the visitors. Second corner already for Racing Club. This one on the far side. Nicolas Oroz slowly trots over to take. Big afternoon for the number 23. So curls one out on the edge of the 6. There's away momentarily by Delgado. Now it's into the back stick. And wanting to be sure, Delgado concedes another corner.
Racing dominating terrain with 2 corners already, putting loads of pressure and occupying every space in Cologne's backyard. We'll see if they can get an early lead.
Bright start from the visitors. Passing onto the near post again. Flick pops up in the sky, and Ignacio Chico claims for Cologne. Here is the chance from the first corner of the match, and Piovi could have fired them in front. Groans from the crowd as Racing force another turnover. Bit ambitious, the strike from range, and it's still rising off the boot of Gomez. But he must like what he's seeing early on, Fernando Gago. There you see Nestor Gorosito, and 3 changes made in the side from that draw away in Rosario. Jorge Benitez, Stefano Moreira, and Andrew Teutin come into the starting 11 to replace Goltz, Alvarez, and Perlaza.
Hard challenge, and now Tejo already putting things in order. Good pass by Aníbal Moreno, incisive pass, and Nico Oroz gets the first hard challenge of the afternoon from Rafael Delgado. Both of the usual fullbacks of Racing had a very good spell in Colón in 2021. Facundo Mura and Gonzalo Piovi in that Copa de la Liga winning side.
Yeah, it was really warm reception for Piovi before the match. Might not have been a warm had he put that chance away. This free kick was an awkward header off a Colón man, and luckily for the home side, straight at Chico. Referee pausing, and perhaps it didn't come off ahead. After all, they're double checking to see if it's a possible penalty.
Oh, this one looks really clear to me from Facundo Garcés.
Facundo Teixeira, center referee, pausing the match as Hernan Mastrangelo and the VAR took a closer look. Not enough for a penalty, not enough to bring the referee over to the monitor in the end. I think the header off Benitez at the close range onto the arm of Garcés, perhaps what saved the Colón captain. Avila behind on the throw. Delgado cuts inside.
Benitez was offside, yeah.
Tried to slip it in.
Sorry, Delgado. The two long haircuts. That's right there is very visible now. Colón has moved up both fullbacks, Mesa on the right and Toten on the left, leaving the three center backs behind, Nardelli, Garcés and Rafa Delgado. Farias is the clear playmaker, and the double nine facing two center backs one-on-one, so they get a helping hand from Aníbal Moreno.
Versatility from Delgado, who played left wing back in Rosario, shifts inside to accommodates the inclusion of Teuten. Alche pressing Facundo Garcés, who thought he was fouled. So too did the crowd, but the referee thought otherwise. Throw in for Racing. Trying to calm his side down. El Pico. Moreira pressed by Gomez. Garcés a bit aimless. Santiago Quiros into the attack for Racing. Played on Wednesday, a 4-0 win over Ñublense. Got all 4 goals in the second half. 3 changes made to that side. Sigali and Piyud get a rest. Coming to the attack now, La Academia. Oh, it's smacked in. Oh, beautiful goal for the Racing Club. Swept into the side netting. And the visitors, starting on the front foot, take the lead in Santa Fe. Colón 0, Racing 1.
It was predictable. Racing was imposing conditions since the very start of the game. had their chances, had their approaches. It was predictable. Racing with a front ball and a very incisive Tomás Avilés. We said it wasn't a so familiar position. Well, he didn't make it look like assisting Maxi Romero with a typical number 9. This man that has been struggling a lot to be used as a typical number 9 despite not being so. With the responsibility of being a prolific goal scorer, there he is, Maxi Romero. And we have the opener.
It's a fantastic finish from Romero. Right on the half bounce, plenty of pace on the cross. Perfect precision into the side netting. No chance for Chico. Needing to respond in front of their home fans. Avila making the run in behinds. Cheeky flick attempt. And that's a clever bit of defending. Now for a Racing goal kick. Well, the changes, as mentioned, Sigali and Piyud replaced by 2 youngsters, Santiago Quiros and Tomás Avilés. And the big question, you mentioned it in the pre-match, Francisco, how do they replace Matias Rojas, their leading goal scorer in both competitions this year? Nicolas Oroz elected to begin the match here tonight by Fernando Gago. Benitez chasing down Gabriel Arias, forcing a throw.
Colón is trying to recover quickly from the massive blow that meant this early goal.
Alche looking for a foul. He thought he was pushed over when he got the shot away. Colón struggling at times to deal with the Racing pressure. That's not the first time we've seen La Academia turn them over high up the pitch. And again, the pressure forcing the turnover. This one, the long ball straight into Arias.
Anyway, I must correct something I said, Avilés. It was Nardoni making a great assist for Maxi Romero. Very strong start by the number 5. Not exactly the same in this movement from Jonathan Gomez.
Looked like he had an extra pep in his step from the opening kick. Nardoni. A wonderful pass for the goal. Gomez caught Moreira napping. Back with Colón. And here's Facundo Farias. Over the top for Avila. This time it's Colón who press and win it. Pico finding Avila.
Colón needs more from
Farias.
this man. Yeah, Colón needs more from this man, from Facundo Farias. Despite, well, that's not the best pass from Avilés to Nardoni. Avila finds that loose ball and then he goes to Farias. The shots went really wide. Racing has changed the system a little bit, moving Gabriel Rojas, sorry, not. We are so used to Matias Rojas, but it's Gabriel Rojas, the left back, who was moved a little bit outwards. Nardoni taken, moving to the wing for some moments. Piovias, the sweeper. Quiroz on the left side of the defense as center back, and Avilés on the right.
Space for Oroz inside the area, shifting it onto his right. Save by Chico.
Well, Colón needs a
It's
wake-up
all
call.
Racing in the opening stages.
You said it perfectly. It's all from Racing in these minutes. Gabriel Rojas now as a left wing. Very versatile. Nico Oroz with a quick change of foot. Had he had a little bit more precision, we could have had the second goal of the afternoon.
Another corner. This one a bit more centrally. Maybe going to the near posts on those near-sided corners. This time by Colón. Fayutin combining with Farias. Avila is offside, and he shouldn't have been there. Rueful smile on the face of Juanchope Avila. Just drifting about a step or two beyond the last defender. Of course, he set the league record for offside flags last season, did Juanchope Avila. Nearly doubled the second place man in that stat category, had more than most teams in the LPF. He's always walking that fine line. Excellent reading of the play by Piovi. Gomez looking for support. It arrives in the form of Moreno. 19-year-old Tomas Aviles throws it into the 20-year-old Quiroz. World of space for Alche, and he's picked out well. Delgado coming over to block the cross, but it'll be another corner for Racing Club. Taking shorts. Auche for Oroz. Away by Benitez. And here charge Colón into the attack. One-on-one with the goalkeeper, Farias. Forced wide. And Arias comes up with the massive save. Colón were bumbling and stumbling their way through a couple challenges. And what an opportunity to find themselves level.
Farias on the way to redemption after a good response by Arias, a very good response by the keeper. Tackles it back for Colón.
Finds Nardoni. Moreno inside. Gomez. Side to side from Racing. Cross just a bit disappointing in the end. They're finding spaces. And it was Eric Mesa who burst into the attack for Colón and found Farias. Gago wondering where the defensive transition was for Racing from their own corner kick. And Farias perhaps just a little heavy on the first touch. Difference between the 1-0 and what could have been 1-1.
Racing keeps the attacking over Colón for these 20 to 25 minutes. Colón still trying to get some possession, which they have lacked throughout all the game. Juan Nardoni is playing such a good game, Carter, such a good game. He had some struggles to set himself in Racing, but these first 25 minutes have been fantastic from him.
He's full of energy here against his former arch rival. Take a look back at the goal. Nardoni playing a huge role. So too that swooping diagonal. It's a wonderful goal.
Great control on the run. Chesting the ball down marvelously to have it right in front of him in the proper position to send the cross. And Romero, what to say about his finishing? Fantastic.
Even Gago was impressed by his team there. All three players with beautiful contributions. There's Quiros with the ball over the top. Sublime, straight into the path of Nardoni. Conejo Benitez got a little bunny hop there to get above his marker, and he draws a free kick. Yovi. One call for the foul. Gago can't believe it. Yovi's certainly taking a knock for his efforts. Gonzalo Piovi, a reminder of that Colón Copa de la Liga winning side from 2 years ago. And so many of that team have been picked apart. They struggled last year to try and replace a lot of the key players. Rafael Delgado. Lovely delivery. The offside flag spares the blushes of Garces.
Leaving the offside apart, it was a dangerous ball. Very slight, but it's offside in the end from Garces. It was halfway between a first time finishing on goal and a control of the ball. Arias, I think he has some grass in his eyes, possibly.
apt description. I think Garces might have been the happiest to see the offside flag go up. Rafael Delgado, such a cultured left foot, and he provides a threat in these types of situations.
Yeah, all the sand and the grass in his eyes for the keeper.
Allows for an impromptu talk. Mr. Gorosito, some of his players. Tough to get the sand out of your eyes when you're wearing those big gloves. Aviles making his 8th start already this season. 19-year-old. Madoni won't catch up to that one. Heavy touch. Pico gives it away. Racing into the attack. Racing double the lead.
Wow.
Gabriel Alche with the powerful efforts to make it Colón 0, Racing 2.
What to say, Racing is having a great time here in Santa Fe today. Gabriel Auche with a fantastic finishing into the top corner. A big gap between the defenders. And here was Auche. Nothing, yeah boy, it's football, I'm sorry for you. Great. Way to put Racing 2 goals clear now. Second team in the round who scores 2 goals. And it's the second time in the round only that a team is leading by 2 goals in this weekend.
Close affairs so far in match day 22. Spoke at the beginning of the match how difficult Colón have been to break down under Nestor Gorosito. They have been made to look rather easy to break down by Racing, and you heard the boos ring out. It was a careless giveaway from Leonel Pico, and just a couple seconds later, it was 2-0. Moreno calls for a foul. For Romero, it's his 4th goal of the league campaign. For Auche, it's goal number 5. To try and make up for the absence of Matias Rojas. They have been scoring by committee in both competitions. 2 of the 3 competitions this season, Racing. They got 4 goals from 4 different players against Ñublense in midweek. That brought their total up in Libertadores. 10 players scoring in the group stage, or their 13 goals scored as a team. They do have 13 different goal scorers in the league season as well.
Racing domination is complete. It's massive. Colón has struggled all afternoon. The strikers have been barely reached by their midfield. A midfield that is ruled by Nardoni and Moreno.
Half an hour gone. A 2-0 advantage. Racing with 60% of the ball. Now it's the pressure from Colón. Pico pointing in behind. Well, he's trying to make up for his mistake at the other end. Leonel Pico, he helped to win it back. And it was just a bit overcooked, the return. Normally, you see Abila putting the perfect weight on that pass. He's frustrated with himself. Delgado. Between two teammates.
Colón is very, very imprecise when they have to reach the 3/4 of the ball of the field. Carter, it's that's the main issue they have, because they are now getting to recover a bit more of the ball, but every time they have to reach anybody of the top three, there is where they will lose all precision and give the ball away. Look at this. Benitez has to come back to the midfield line to get to the ball.
Must be said, they are without Baldomero Perlaza, serving his yellow card accumulation suspension in the center of the park, Colón. He's been a key figure this year. Romero is trying to hold his run, and evidently has done so. Flag stays down. Oroz intelligently switching it over to the far side. Gabriel Rojas coming forward. Gomez. Patience here. Racing. Well, commentators curse, try to fit it through a tight window, and Pico is in the way. Oh, she's
that's suffering. That's
going
tension.
through it. Teuton swiftly onto the loose ball. Abila is pulled wide. Kept alive by Benitez. It's a late challenge. Referee glances over the shoulder. Racing continue into the attack. Auche surveys the scene. What a ball. Still in the area. 3-0. A dominant first half from the Racing Club. Ignacio Chico picks the ball out of his net once more, and Nicolas Oroz, the fill-in for the departed Matias Rojas here today, gets his second goal of the season. Colón 0, Racing 3.
Well, it all started with that run on the left, and Oroz also making his contribution. Look how unmarked was the far side. That's a lucky rebound in Maxi Romero. And when you're playing so well that even luck comes in your favor, you can create things like this. Nico Ross, his sentence in this game. In the meantime, Carter, we had a yellow card for Rafa Delgado for that foul we saw at the beginning of the replay.
That's fantastic refereeing from Facundo Teixeira. Allowed the advantage, and Rosing took full advantage in the end. Arrowed into the corner by Oroz. And like you said, Francisco, it seems like everything they're touching turns to gold at the moment. A lucky bounce, but Oroz, in turn, rode his luck in for his second goal of the season. He's been criticized a bit this year when he's had his chances. Nicolas Oroz did score against Flamengo in a 1-1 draw in the Libertadores at home.
That could have saved Racing's fate in the Libertadores, that goal. Racing in the end won the round, their zone, beating Ñublense from Chile.
They await the draw for the knockout rounds, which comes up on Wednesday. And thanks to that first place finish, they get to avoid the likes of Palmeiras.
Yeah, but from the 8 bowls of rivals, you have Flamengo, you have Ríver Plate, you have Argentinos Juniors, you have Atlético Mineiro, you have Bolívar, which shouldn't be a hard challenge playing at home, but it forces you to go to over 10,000 feet over sea level, 3,600 meters.
Use that advantage against Palmeiras in the group stage, the Bolivians. Yeah, no easy outs at this stage in the competition. Colón sloppy at the back once more. It has been an uncharacteristic first half for Colón under Néstor Gorosito.
Yeah, Colón has been so vulnerable throughout all the first half. There is Andrew Tauten, late challenge over. In my opinion, the best player of the first half, Juan Ignacio Nardoni.
A lot of work for the brain trusts of the Colón technical area. Without Goltz through injury, without Perlaza through suspension, they're actually 4 players short on the bench here today. A lot of options available to try and bring in. And it's now a dangerous looking free kick to try and have to defend. 4 in the wall for Colón. Oroz looking interested with his left. It's Oroz. Dipping, but not quite far enough. Finds Mesa. Stabbed away by Rojas. Benitez, let it run. Delgado goes from range. Delgado on a rope. Got full power behind it. Arias pounces on the rebound.
Colón trying to give some vital signs. Delgado has struggled a lot in the first half, but when he went to attack, he did things like this.
It's always that much more difficult for the goalkeeper when it bounces just in front. It's a smart stop in the end from Arias.
Look at Santiago Quiroz doing that. Risky, I mean,
Right.
yeah, the scoreline allows you to take a few risks, but anyway, if that goes wrong, it's still embarrassing.
Confidence inside his own technical area. Just the third career start for Quiroz, the 20-year-olds. All three have come on the road. He started away to Defensa y Justicia and Instituto. Both were 1-1 draws, but he's well on his way to his first win as a starter for La Academia. Delgado. Teuton. Avilas got out in a hurry to block the cross. Arias straight into Ross in defense. Space again for Teuton. Touch inside, could it send Racing on their way once more? Garces comes over to intercept the ball in behind. Benitez timed his run. Couldn't do anything with it. Racing looking comfortable as we approach halftime, up 3-0. Dominant in just about every aspect of the match thus far. Eventually found. Is it 4? It's not. Ignacio Chico makes the save, but it's not well cleared. Back again come Racing, and it's just beyond Romero, who must have thought there was someone behind him. Still not cleared by Colón. What a touch from Auche. It was rocketed into him. It keeps it alive. Gomez. They're picking apart the Sabalero. Oroz from range, just wide.
This is masterclass. This must be the best game from Racing in a long time, for sure in this year. The way they are controlling the ball right in front of Colón's noses in their own boxes, something from the highest caliber. Look at that, Oroz. Oroz is also playing a very good game, apart from Nardoni, who I have praised a few times. Nico Oroz, not only for his goal, but contributing to all his teammates in the midfield, in the attack.
Mesa taken a bit wide. Does get on the end of it to keep it for Colón.
Last 40 seconds.
Chico making the stop on Rojas. Some Colón players headed early to the locker room.
That means that we'll have at least 2 or 3 changes. Alfio Basile, former coach of Racing, former coach of Boca and the national team of Argentina, once said, I wanted to make 11 changes in the halftime.
That might be the thought of Nestor Gorosito here as we
listen to the crowd.
Head into the break in Santa Fe. Crowd have seen A masterclass from Racing Club. The visitors from Avellaneda lead 3-0 over Colón. Francisco Aure. It has been a dominant performance from the visitors.
Yeah, it looked like 2 divisions of difference between Colón and the visitors today. Racing is very happy. This is the third goal by Nico Oroz after the lucky rebound in Maxi Romero. When even rebounds come in your favor, it means that it's a very, very good afternoon for you. Gorosito is disappointed. The voice of experience, Auche, speaking to Santiago Quiroz. And both teams are heading into the dressing room with 3 goals of difference. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go to a little break and we'll be back in 3 minutes with the halftime and what's coming ahead in Colón Racing. Stay tuned. Three-0 by the end of the first half for Racing, who are having the time of their lives against Colón in Santa Fe. Maxi Romero, Gabriel Auche, and Nicolás Oroz have extended the gap to 3 for La Academia by the end of the first half in this game for round number 22 of the Argentina Liga Profesional de Fútbol that kicked off on Friday with 3 1-0 wins. Lanús playing away to Platense, Vélez in Liniers against Arsenal, and Atlético Tucumán in Tucumán against Unión. Yesterday, Barracas Central shocked the leaders of the league, Ríver Plέit, by winning 2-1. San Lorenzo got a valuable 1-0 win against Rosario Central. Estudiantes wasted points against Central Córdoba, and the very disappointing draw for Talleres, 1-1 against Godoy Cruz, as they had the chance to get 7 points from the lead in second place. Independiente today beat Huracán 1-0. And as you are enjoying, Racing is leading 3-0 against Colón. We will be followed by the Córdoba Derby. For the first time after 23 years, Instituto and Belgrano will be face-to-face in the top flight of Argentina. Then Banfield will play Argentinos Juniors, and Defensa y Justicia will take on Tigre at the same time. 9:30 p.m. we close with Boca facing Sarmiento in La Bombonera, and tomorrow Newell's will play Gimnasia. The standings have Ríver Plate leading on 50 points from Talleres on 41, San Lorenzo on 41 too. Lanús is on 40 in 4th place, then Estudiantes, Rosario Central, Belgrano, Defensa y Justicia, Godoy Cruz, Argentinos Juniors, Racing, Newell's, Platense, and Sarmiento closing the first half of the standings. On 28 points is the team from Junín, who will visit Boca in La Bombonera later. Boca, speaking of such, 28 points in 15th place, then Barraca Central, Central Córdoba, Gimnasia, Tigre. Colón is staying on 24 points in 20th, ahead of Independiente, Atlético Tucumán, Unión, Instituto, Vélez, Huracán, Banfield, and Arsenal. Let's move now to the highlights of the first half. (3-0) by the end of the first half. We're 3-0. Waiting for the second half between Colón and Racing. This is the first game in the round in which we have a team leading by 3 goals. Only Barraca Central scored 2 goals. The rest of the team scored 0 or 1 in this round. But, as we said, we had goals to share with you. Let's get to there. 12 goals in the first 8 games. We start on Saturday. Carlos Arce, after the cross by Ivan Tapia, puts Barracas Central 1-0 ahead of Ríver Plate. In the second half, Tapia and Mauro Peinipil Ríver Plate would reduce the difference with a shot by Ignacio Fernandez and the rebound caught by Miguel Borja. San Lorenzo got a 1-0 win against Rosario Central. Malcolm Braida, one of the most valuable players in the year for the club. Lucas Gamba puts Central Córdoba ahead of Estudiantes today. But after this rebound, Eros Mancuso would score the equalizer. In the end of the first half. Talleres wasted the chance of moving 3 points close from 7 points from Ríver Plate. Michael Santos scored the opener for them. And Godoy Cruz would get the equalizer through Tadeo Allende 7 minutes from the end. Today Independiente, thanks to the ball sent by Martín Sarrafiore, had Martín Cauteruccio scoring, leveled in 3rd place in the top scorer table. Cauteruccio with a crucial win for Independiente. We are ready for the second half. I'm Francisco Auri, alongside me is Carl Augustin. We are enjoying round number 22 of the Argentina Liga Profesional de Fútbol. After this game, the Córdoba Derby between Instituto and Belgrano, then Banfield Argentino Juniors, Defensa y Justicia Tigre, and Boca Juniors taking on Sarmiento in La Bombonera. Carter, we have seen a really solid display from Racing. I doubt if we'll see some 7, 8, 11, 50 changes in Colón for the second half.
On one end, you have a fantastic performance from Racing, and I think I have to agree, it has been well below the mark from Colón, the home side. And we saw several from the bench move to the locker room before the first half was over, and you wouldn't be surprised to see Nestor Gorosito make a few changes. Been very poor in the first half, Colón, struggling to get into the attack, creating problems for themselves at the back. They just couldn't deal with the Racing pressure at times. Three shots for Colón, 14 shots for the visitors. 2 on target for the home side, with 6 fired on target by Racing, who have more than 60% of the ball in that first half of play. 5 corners to 0, Racing as well. The 1 yellow card went to Rafael Delgado. Last year when they were chasing the league title, I heard the term the Gagoneta, and certainly, you mentioned it, Francisco, this has to be one of the better performances from Racing. in the league in some time. Let's just look at their last two halves of football. They scored all 4 against Ñublense in the second half on Wednesday. They scored 3 in the first half here this early evening.
Speaking of which, there is Fernando Gago. I don't think Racing will have changes unless he wants to reserve any player for the upcoming midweek fixture. Remember that after we finish the round tomorrow, we have round 23 starting on Tuesday until Friday, and we will have round 24 starting on Saturday, July the 8th until Tuesday, July 11th. So 12 days of non-stopping football in Argentina.
And by virtue of that dominant first half performance, perhaps Racing can, a bit sooner than normal, turn a glance towards that next match, which is a big one. They welcome in San Lorenzo on Wednesday.
3 changes,
and you predicted it, Francisco. A trio of changes coming for Colón at the break.
4 changes. We have 4
4
changes. Pierotti, Vega, Arrua, and Golds are getting ready. We will see. Santiago Pierotti. Here is Cristian Vega replacing Leonel Pico first. Let's go one by one. Santiago Pierotti replacing Ramón Ávila. Let's see. Arrua, another striker, replacing Andrew Touten. And Paolo Gold replaces Eric Mesa.
Well, both wingbacks withdrawn by Nestor Gorosito. Might it be a change in setup for Colón? They need massive changes, certainly in energy and production here in the second half as we begin with Colón going left to right, trailing by 3-0. Racing Club leading through Romero, Auche, and Oroz. And it was a one-way traffic in the first half here in Santa Fe. Alongside Francisco Aurde, I'm Carter Augustine. And, well, 4 changes, just the 4 at halftime, Francisco. That says a lot from Nestor Gorosito.
Yeah, the only time I remember having seen 4 changes was in a game in which Rosario Central was leading by 4 or 5 goals against Arsenal in 2021, I think it was. 4 changes. I think the coach was Sergio Rondina.
Gorosito not at all happy with his side's performance in the first half. The likes of Pico, Teuten giving it away inside their own area. Avila not quite as effective. And Racing have come in here and matched up with that 3 center-back formation that Colón have been utilizing under Nestor Gorosito and absolutely bossed the first half of play. Gomez had himself an energetic first half as well.
Back 3 now for Colón for sure. Pierotti on the right wing. I guess Arrua on the left.
Nardelli playing as a fullback now. And here he comes charging down the right flank. Acres of space for Racing to attack where Nardelli was. It's Rojas. Tried to pick out the run at the edge of the box made by Romero. What will the change in setup do for Colón? Farias first time in behind Benitez. Hint of offside. It's still loose. It's nodded in for an own goal.
Offside, offside.
The flag will come up.
Yeah, offside. It was an own goal by Quiroz, but it was offside by Jorge Benitez. You spotted at first, Carter. It was very clear. Yeah, it's clear offside.
Fans with a moment of hope. They haven't had much of it throughout the course of the match. Maybe just a slight warning for Racing that despite a 3-goal lead, it's not in the clear just yet. Christian Vega getting beyond Auche. Well, that's what we're used to seeing from Facundo Farias. Lovely play from the jewel. He finds Pierotti. Cut back for Benitez. Cut out by Piovi.
It was a fantastic movement from Facundo Farias. That's the guy that Ríver Plate and Boca had been wrestling in the transfer market for. That's him. Many $1 million were expected to be paid for that, for his transfer. This is the first chance with Gaby Rojas arriving with no company to the box, and the pass backwards was well caught. And then Pierotti
just
couldn't synchronize properly with Benitez. He didn't know it to send it to the foot or to the blank space where Benitez was supposed to run. It was midway through and it was cleared.
Pierotti served his yellow card suspension in the last match away to Rosario Central. I think that's going to be an interesting factor for Colón the rest of the way, Francisco. They've got Farias back now, healthy. How do they combine him and Pierotti, who has been full of energy throughout this season?
They were asking a handball by Aníbal Moreno. Now Colón has moved from back 5 to back 4 with Nardelli, Golds, Garcés and Delgado from right to left. Then Vega and Moreira in the midfield. Farther up is Farias, right wing for Pierotti and left wing for Carlos Arrua from Paraguay. And certainly Colón was more dangerous in these 5 minutes than in all the first half.
Yeah, the change in formation, the change in tactics, a clear indication that Nestor Gorosito knew they were nowhere near Racing in the first half. Both wing backs brought off. And they've started much better here in the second. What can Rafael Delgado produce? Man goes down inside the area, asking for a penalty. It's back for Kili Vega. Out for a throw. Of course, VAR will take a look, and Facundo Teixeira does hold up the play. Well, it wasn't very clever from Jean Nardelli there to get the throw in right back onto the field, with Paulo Goltz looking for a penalty. He's helped out by the referee, but in the end, no further look necessary. Flicked on from the throw! And it was the man Colón would have hoped on the end, Farias.
Carter, if Colón manages to nail a goal before the 60th minute, Racing can be in serious trouble. Racing hasn't gone up the midfield in all the second half. Colón has just had 2 clear chances. The throw-in by Nardelli was so powerful.
Fascinating tactical battle developing here in Santa Fe. Popped for Anibal Moreno to have a go. Didn't quite catch hold of it. Vega. Delgado. Over the top for Pierotti. Shot blocked by Moreno. Vega able to pick up the scraps. Clever run in behind. Arrua. Tackled away by Piovi. We talked about Nardoni, the former Union man, being up for the match. Looks like Gonzalo Piovi, the former Sabalero title winner, also enjoying his return here to Santa Fe. Delgado earns the free kick. Pierotti, we're making the run in behind. Pierotti, oh, he had found the space. In the end, couldn't quite direct his first touch on the chest, but he's looking lively, Santiago Pierotti. Pierotti getting to the end line, gets the cross away. Curled back in by Nardelli. Showing a lot more life in the second half to Sabalero.
It doesn't happen every day that you have a team leading by 3 goals and suddenly the team that is 3 goals down looking like they can turn it over. But certainly Colón is looking a different face. He's showing a different face in this half.
Rose charging in. Delgado winning the duel. Into space. Pierotti gets there first. Pierotti cutting it back. Farias. Was he brought down? Referee says it's a dive. Yellow card for simulation to Facundo Farias. They'll, of course, take a look at VAR.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Tejo was not exactly right over the movements and was extremely convinced of his decision. He might be right, of course, but let's see. This is a clear penalty. This is a huge penalty, in my opinion. There is contact. No, I disagree. I completely disagree with this. There was no contact from the defender to the ball, and only touching Farías.
Farías went down and gets a yellow card for simulation. Could have been a huge moment in the match.
I don't know if you agree with me, Carter, but it looks, to me, it was a huge penalty.
He did just dangle the leg to try and draw the contact, but the contact was made. Home fans wondering where this Cologne team was in the first half.
3 changes coming up for Racing.
And that is fascinating from Fernando Gago as this chess match continues to develop in Santa Fe. And now Racing forced to respond.
Mura, Morales and Paolo Guerrero.
Cross into the area. Cologne howling once again for a penalty. There's a man down. It's Nardoni. Goltz felt he was fouled. Incidental contact, not much in it. Goltz is asking for the second time for a penalty. I don't think either crossing the threshold. Well, let's take another look, Francisco, at the possible penalty for Farías.
They touch his left ankle. I stand on what I said. Pirotti was out of his mind. Farías also. So we'll go through the changes one by one. Maxi Morales will replace Jonathan Gomez. There is Gomez leaving. Paolo Guerrero will take Maxi Romero's position. And here is the change of system as Facundo Mura will replace Gabriel Auche.
Two of the goal scorers withdrawn. Maxi Romero got the goal scoring started with a fantastic finish into the side netting in the early stages of the match. 12th minute, Racing were up and running. Auche doubled the lead right around the half-hour mark with a powerful shot after it cost a giveaway by Leonel Pico. Both withdrawn here as we move over the hour gone in Santa Fe. Moreira into the challenge. Farías. His pass cut out by Piovi. Delgado saunters into the attack. Arrua. Forced back to Vega. Outside in run. Pass a bit heavy. Nardelli was into the attack. Pierotti. Watched by Rojas. Colon a bit skeptical as to whether or not the Racing man is actually injured. Fernando Gago's not going to wait around. He's going to go to the bench once more. It's Quiroz down, and he played a role in the opener. What a ball from the youngster.
Great ball there from Nardoni, and Romero found the 1-0. Nardoni, Auche, 2-0. And then Auche, the shot by Jonathan Gomez, rebounded Maxi Romero's back, right in front of Nico Oroz for the third goal.
Jonathan Galvan will come on to replace the injured Quiroz. Change made by Racing Club.
Jonathan Galvan replaced Quiroz.
Foul on Vega. Moreno spotting Rojas. In the way was Morales. Nardelli. Heavy foot. Goltz with the controlled header down to Vega. Momentum has shifted in the way of the home side in the second half, but they've been unable to turn that into their first goal of the game. Mentioned Racing with a home match against San Lorenzo on Wednesday. Cologne have to go to Ríver Plate on Wednesday night. Win it high up the pitch to Sabalero. Farias got beyond one. Couldn't get past Aviles. Now Paulo Guerrero. Runs out of room on the far side. Nardoni read the play well. A little bit of afters there. Yellow card for Delgado, who saw yellow in the first half. And now he's sent off. Moment of madness for Rafael Delgado, Colón, who had been fighting to try and get back in the match in the second half, reduced to 10 men.
This is despair for Colón. They had played 10 minutes in a very good form at the beginning of the first half. And now it's all different. Ah, come on. No excuses. No yellow card for Nardoni.
Yellow card now for Nardoni, yep. Starting to get a little feisty out on the pitch. Galvan winning the header. Nardelli a bit overconfident there on the foot race with Rojas. Does well to recover. Now Racing will make their final change of the match.
Time for Santino Vera to come into the field, replacing Nico Oroz.
17-year-olds for La Academia. And a special evening for young Santino Vera, making his professional debut here in Santa Fe. Trouble for the goalkeeper, Chico. It's about a dream scenario to make your debut, Francisco. Up 3 goals, up a man.
Yeah, indeed, very good moments for this 17-year-old who was in the headlines after being called by Fernando Gago for the game against Aucas for Libertadores. And this is the proper atmosphere to put a player to make his debut.
Well, that was the moment of madness from Delgado. Clearly worthy of a second yellow. No hesitation from the referee. And that might have just stopped short any real opportunity of a stirring comeback. Of course, they had yet to find the first goal, let alone the second or third.
The defensive midfielder is Santino Vera, today's rookie.
Farias with the free kick. Easy catch for Arias. To the attack of Racing, looking for a fourth. And tight angle. It's dragged wide by Maxi Morales. Deft little touch off the head to send Colón into the attack with Farias. Moreno nods it down. Guerrero trying to hold things up, was unable to. Peruvian legend. Perotti. Benitez and Farias getting in one another's way. Can the 11 men of Racing hit on the counter against the 10 of Colón? There's Santino Vera getting some touches at the base of the midfield. Piovi. Onside, Morales. Far side assistant had a long look. Vera caught in possession. Farias racing into the attack. Still Facundo Farias. Excellent defending. Anibal Moreno controlling the situation, and now he deals it over to Guerrero in space on the right side for Racing. Moreno carries it forward for Morales. Looking to the back stick. Hurried away. Moreno seeing plenty of the ball now. Wayward from Facundo Mura, who's getting an earful now. Left short. Moreira. Piovi keeps it running for Guerrero. Now Morales. Rojas curls it in. Great save, Chico. Muda was arriving unmarked at the back posts. Farias earning another yellow card. Well, he's just starting to get back into form, Facundo Farias. Lovely to see his return from the knee injury.
A player that when he's in his best level, is always a pleasure to watch. Yellow card for Facundo Mura.
Here was the chance from a moment ago.
Yeah, Morales. Look at. It was Mura lifting the hand, raising his hand behind without any marking. And a good response by Ignacio Chico.
He's had a couple one-on-one stops. Otherwise, it could have been more than three. Of course, still time to find another. Rojas, Moreno, and Morales is upset, and he has good reason. Easy to see from up here, but he was onside. Rojas elected to cut it back.
Gonzalo Silva will enter the field replacing Jorge Benitez. He was grabbed from Ríver Plêit's academy after he was released from his contracts. He played in Phoenix in the 3rd division and now was brought in by Colón.
On for his Colón debut, Silva, and he's the 5th and final substitution. You have to go all the way back to halftime for the last ones, as Gorosito made a quadruple change at the break. Colón were down 3-0 at halftime. Change of formation looks like it might get them back in the match. Sending off of Delgado is taking the steam out of the second half. The referee needing some attention to his gear. They've had to communicate a few times. There's been a couple VAR pauses to the match, nothing worthy of requiring Teixeira to go to his monitor. Modern technology, my friend, supposed to make things easier.
Yeah, but there's not a round in which we don't have this kind of trouble.
Stoppage time at the end of the second half is not going to be for anything the players did. Well, he's had a stellar standout evening as well, Gonzalo Piovi. Crowd with a warm reception for the 28-year-olds. Only spent around 18 months here with Colón, but what an 18-month spell it was. Oh, Mr. Teixeira, can you hear us now?
Hello, hello, testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it's okay now.
back into action after that long delay. Approaching the final 5 minutes. Should have a good few added on for the technical malfunction. Busy Sunday of action in the LPF with some fantastic matches yet to come. Instituto against Belgrano coming up shortly. Cordoba having a moment this year in Argentina.
The two goal scorers of the league, Pablo Vecchetti from Belgrano and Michael Santos from Talleres. And now the third force of Cordoba, Instituto, back in the top flights and back playing derbies.
That'll be a fantastic watch as La Gloria try and pull themselves up. Poor run of form as of late. Banfield play host to Argentinos Juniors. Defensa Justicia and Tigre for Boca hosts Sarmiento late on to close out the Sunday of action. Newell's and Gimnasia wrap up match day 22 tomorrow night. Moreno. Morales. Scrambled away. Rua couldn't escape and was late into the challenge. Another yellow card. This one for Carlos Orrua.
Colón had that glimpse of hope with that very solid start of the second half, but then as soon as they couldn't score, they wasted the chance, and then it all became very easy for Racing, who only had to let the time go by.
Got the job done in the first half. Racing Club. You have to credit Fernando Gago getting his tactics spot on in that first half. It's a result that moves Racing just outside the top 10, at least for the time being. They'll be in 11th. A couple of teams, such as Newell's, Sarmiento, Boca, that could jump back over La Academia. Cross into the area, brought down by Rojas. Drops it for Moreno. Cut out by Orrua. Arias holding it up. One quickly back by Guerrero. And now a free kick for Racing. Down goes Morales. It's not going to test the goal of Chico. He's not shy of letting him fly from distance, Moreno. Chico smacks it forward. Galvan wins the header. Rojas. Apologizing. Overhit that big diagonal into the area and through. Seeing this one out, well, in some style there on the near side. Through the legs from Piovi. Morales couldn't quite keep it in play. Now Racing Club awaits Wednesday's draw in Buenos Aires for their next matchup in Libertadores, round of 16, come at the beginning of August. 5 for 5 teams from Argentina stayed alive in their Libertadores. Of course, Patronato dropping down in the third place finish.
Yeah, which also almost means conquering a title for them. To not finish in last and to have the chance to play Sudamericana. Wonderful achievement after a very emotional game in Colombia.
They join San Lorenzo, Newell's, Tigre, Estudiantes, still alive in that competition. Only Gimnasia and Huracan falling by the wayside at the group stage. Morales on a platter. And Facundo Mura apologizes to his former club. It's an exclamation point for Racing. Dominant in the first half. And just seeing out the second. But on the counter, they add one more to make this an emphatic victory in Santa Fe. Colón 0, Racing Club 4.
Fantastic performance. The best game in the year for Racing. Quick counter-attack. Colón was completely given up. Patiently driven. Good ball to the middle. And the third goal in Racing for Facundo Mura after 58 games. 30 games played in 2021 for Colón.
And it's the final kick of the match. Mura adding a fourth for Racing Club. It's back-to-back 4-goal performances. A fabulous week for La Academia. Maxi Romero got the goal scoring started. Auche and Oroz made it 3-0 at the break. And with the final kick of the ball, Mura makes it Colón 0, Racing 4. Francisco Aure, what a performance here from Fernando Gago's men.
Yeah, Racing did what they wanted. Favored by a very positive first half in which everything came out in their favor, which was as consequence of the game and consequence of luck. Everything came out positively for them, and that sentenced the game. In the second half, Colón had a good start, a really good start that looked that they could make or create some trouble for Racing, but as soon as they couldn't score the chances they had, it all went into the simply sentence game terrain. Carter, it's been a pleasure. We have seen a fantastic game.
Full time from Santa Fe. Colón 0, Racing 4.
Fantastic performance by Racing, giving absolutely no chance to Colón in any moment of the game. And now it's time up, as we will move to the highlights of the game right now. 4 goals and a very good performance by Racing Colón with